Hi, welcome to Barb's Kitchen Center. My name is Celeste and this is my test kitchen. Today I want to talk to you about grain mills. We use the Nutrimill here in the store and it's the one we recommend. It's got steel milling heads and it pretty much does everything we want it to do. Now when you're cooking with grains and whole grains, it's always more nutritional. The oils are fresh, it doesn't taste sour or rancid or old, which you'll sometimes find when you buy whole wheat flours from the store, or whole grain flours from the store. So things you want to know about if you're not buying your grain from a store like ours. If you know a farmer, lucky you, but things you want to ask your farmer are, is the grain thoroughly cleaned? And when you think of cleaning grain, if you've never been to a seed cleaning plant or a grain cleaning plant, it's not quite what you think. There's no water involved. They just run them through a series of screens. So even in the most studious seed cleaning plant, you will still get detritus in your grain that you may not want to run through your mill. So when you're putting grain into your mill, do check. So this is stuff that came in a bag of grain that should not have been in that bag of grain. Okay, you can see how this got through. It's smaller than most grains, but it's still stuff you wouldn't necessarily want to run through your mill because it is stuff that could damage the milling heads, and this is the sort of thing that's not warranted when your milling heads come in damaged. So give it a once over. You don't have to look at it grain by grain, but give it the once over. And if you see some stuff, then you may want to be more cautious. So if you're doing milling your own flour for bread, you want to make sure that it has a 14% or higher protein level, and you want to make sure it's a hard wheat. So hard white, hard red, something that's got a higher gluten content. And if you're doing a whole grain like a whole wheat, you may even need to add gluten just to help it rise nicely, because it will often, the grains can be sharp when they're cut, and they'll cut the gluten strands, which are really quite delicate. Even though they're quite stiff, they can be quite delicate. I had an itchy lip. I feel like I'm twiddling my mustache here. So and, oh yes, absolutely, really important is you want to keep your grain in a sealed container and dry, because if it gets damp, it is grain, it is seed, it will sprout. And you may find you have a wheat crop in your cupboard if you don't keep it in a dry spot. And you also don't want to have mice or rats or other pests get in it, because it is, it's like smelling hot buttered popcorn in a movie theater for a pest. They smell fresh grain and they're like, woohoo, buffet. So keep it dry, keep it sealed. The things that you can run through your mill, I'll go through a list, and we're posting this list underneath the video so that you can have some idea. It is not a comprehensive list, but it'll give you an idea of the things that are safe to run through your mill are hard and soft wheats, dry sweet corn, dried lentils, garbanzo beans, chickpeas, rye, millet, sorghum, pinto beans, buckwheat, mung beans, split peas, rice, and rice is great for cleaning your mill. If you have somebody who has allergies and you want to make sure that you're not cross-contaminating anything, run a cup of rice through your mill. Even instant rice is fine. You can do field corn, popcorn, emmer, dried beans. You get the picture. It has to be something dry, something that's not oily. Things you never, ever, ever, ever want to run through your mill are things like sunflower seeds, coffee beans, dates, any kind of nut, sugars, raisins, sesame seeds, dried fruit, and flax, because they are all incredibly oily and they will cause your mill to get all gummy inside and stop working efficiently, and they will cross-contaminate everything. So enjoy making your own flour.